Welcome to Under the Sun podcast. I'm Aileeah.
And I'm Irene. Grab a cup of coffee and your comfiest sweats and join us every Monday as two best friends discuss everything from raising free-range gremlins to business and really everything under the sun.
Let's get started, and thanks for being here.
So, you know those automatic negative thoughts that you talked about before?
The ants.
The ants. I was just like living my life, and I have like things that I say in my head all the time, like to myself, even if I don't believe it. But I thought it would be a nice episode to just share maybe some slight encouragement or just sayings that we say in our head all the time to help us be 1% better every day.
Yes.
So, how do you want to do this? You want to just ramrod through them?
Yeah, because some of ours overlap. You have a mascara under your eyelid.
Wait, this one?
That one, yeah. Well, that's it.
It's because I have beef tallow on my face.
Oh, yeah.
And every time I wear beef tallow, it makes my mascara run. You can't have the best of both worlds, I guess.
Right.
But I also have 2 pimples because
we should do skincare.
On my period.
Skincare one.
Oh, yeah, we should do
Dang it, no babies.
One. What?
I said, dang it, no baby.
No, but I have something to tell you after.
Okay.
All right, so these are sayings that we live by, repeat to ourselves, even like in good times and in bad times, and things we've learned along the way. For if you're a youngin', we're your elder, so listen up, Buttercup. You want to start? You want me to go?
Go for it.
Something I always say to myself is these two things kind of go together. Is nobody's coming to save you, and no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm like getting in my pity party of like, oh, the podcast isn't, growing like I'd like to see it, or, why is things so hard? I'm like, or, I wish we could afford a team to help us, reach out to people in a timely fashion.
Sorry, email people that are waiting for us.
Yeah, it's more of no one's going to come and save you. You just have to do it. Yeah. So that's my first one.
Good. I have identity theft is not a joke, Jim.
What?
That saying, that's like going around now. It's like things that live in my head rent free. And that saying pops up on my head like a song that's stuck in my head all the time. I don't live by it, but it pops in my head.
Say it again.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. That's all. That lives in my head.
So in what context does it pop up in your mind?
Just I'll be blow drying hair, silently going about my day, and then it pops in my head and I laugh to myself. And I'm like, people are going to think I'm laughing. Like I'm crazy. Just stop laughing. That lives in my brain.
I think of you whenever I see a reel that's like, it's the same. It's Kelly, not Kapoor?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly Kapoor. I watched The Office. I swear. My brain wasn't populating for a second. But it's of hairstylists, like, and they're blow drying, and then she's like, the client's like, oh, like, oh, that's a great idea. So, like, how would you think I would do that? And she's like, what did I say? I talk a lot. And then, like,
yes.
I'm like, that makes me think of you.
My brain is going.
Not that your brain is like that, but,
no, but when you blow dry,
you have said that before of like, what did I say?
It's a zone. It's a zone that you just go in and you can't really hear, so you're just making things up as you go.
Yeah.
But on a realistic standpoint, which goes back to labor, and I can't even tell you if I heard it in hypnobirthing or from a doula. I have a foggy memory that maybe it was Amy, my midwife, saying it, but like you can do anything for 60 seconds. So I found even in winter when I'm walking to the car and it's -12 and it's freezing. It's like, that part of your body that's like danger, you're going to die. It's like, no, it's going to take less than 60 seconds to get to the house. You're not going to die in 60 seconds. So yeah, that's a big one. Like you can literally do anything for 60 seconds. You can hold your breath for 60 seconds. You can like anything that would cause an emergency, most things that would cause an emergency, like you can do it for 60 seconds.
Yeah, I love it. My next thing would be, don't put it down, put it away.
That's a good one.
I think it often, but usually I'm putting it down and being like, you should be putting it away, Leah.
but you don't.
Sometimes I do. I go through cycles. I feel like it's all linked to my literal cycle. Yeah. That if it's like I'm on my period or the week, not week before, but the couple days before, I find myself, my house is definitely not as tidy as it is the other 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll have an episode on that too.
Yeah. Because I think I'm going to start planning my life.
We need to write these down, Irene.
I sometimes do, planning my life by my cycle, because you really are like significantly different people.
Yeah. It's like did you know that your bone structure changes slightly when you're ovulating because your body knows like, hey, I'm going to lure this man to knock me up. And so
You do feel a little bit like you walk different.
Yeah. You walk
I don't know. It's like a, not
simple.
confident, but like.
Your pheromones are blazing. I take that.
I love babies. Once this parasite cleanse is over.
No, you need.
I need a baby. All systems are screaming, you need a baby. But I can't because I'm getting rid of parasites.
Okay, here's my next recommendation. It was not on my list, but listen to your body unless it's telling you to rush something when you're not quite healed yet, Irene.
I mean, something must be healed because out of nowhere the other day, it was like all systems go. If you don't have a baby, you are going to start bawling your eyes out. Like out of nowhere. So the hormones must be going.
Are always a blessing.
There was something else that I was going to say off of that. Oh, another thing is, I don't really have it written down, but there's never a perfect time. Yeah. The situation will never be perfect when it comes to, you have to be responsible that yes, you're going to have to care for this life that you need to be able to afford. But at the same time, if you wait for everything to be perfect, things cannot happen.
Yep. I agree.
Mm-hmm. So nothing will ever be perfect. Just do it.
Along those lines, then, it's nobody thinks about you as much as you think about you.
Mm-hmm.
That, our friend Dean Hefta, if you haven't listened to that episode, we need to have him back.
Yeah, we do.
I'll reach out to him.
Okay.
Dean, I'm coming for you. But he said that once. I remember being like, kind of like, ugh. Like when I first heard it, I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh yeah, like nobody cares. Just like a reel I saw on Instagram the other day. It was like, the girl's like, can you spot my biggest insecurity? And she was just like, you can't? Then it doesn't matter. Like, no, if somebody, like, nothing matters. Like, nobody cares. Like, nobody thinks like, oh, she's wearing those pants again.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're just like, Leah needs to take a shower.
Well, the trolls might, but who cares what they think because they're rude anyways.
There's a different category for trolls.
Right.
They just have no meaning and purpose in their life besides trying to get a rise out of people.
Yep.
Which it makes me feel sad for them.
Yeah.
That's your whole life.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Another one I have is act enthusiastic and you'll be enthusiastic, which is one of those funny things that I heard in youth conference and they said it all week. And by the end of the week, we were like kind of mocking them for saying it every time they got up there, but it stuck. And that's like, if I'm just in a bad mood, it's like, well, if you just act enthusiastic to do the dishes, you'll be enthusiastic and then throw on some music and go.
That's interesting because you know how like, I don't know where I heard it. Someone said like romanticize your life, you know, and like pretend, you know, you're the main character in the movie. And, and how would you handle this if you're the main character? Like that's kind of similar of like when I'm doing the dishes or something I don't want to do. I'm like, I'm just going to romanticize this. I'm going to put on Nora Jones in the background, listen to music and make it like a thing, even though it feels mundane. I like that.
Well, you watch reels on Instagram of people, just like clips of them doing the dishes and folding laundry. And just because they have like pretty piano music in the background, it's like, oh, that looks fun. It's like, they just did a good job at doing that, romanticizing it.
Yeah, I like that. I have, the next one is, you can always do the next right thing. That's it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Because, you know, there's that saying that's, when's the best time to plant a tree? It's like, well, 20 years ago. When's the best time to plant a tree? Today.
Yeah.
And so that's for me, sometimes I get in my head of like, oh, well, I can't do this thing until X, Y, and Z is perfect. So I'm just going to do the next right thing to move the needle forward. So
this is something I know we both have, but it's that you can do hard things. And I tell that to my kids all the time when they don't want to walk up the stairs. I'm out of climbing breath. I'm like, you can.
Up the stairs?
Oh. I have one
more cardio.
I have one that's like, carry me, my legs are tired. And one that it's like, I'll do it. I'm like, no, let me help you. No, I'll do it. I'm like, can you two just like balance each other a little bit here?
Oh, good place jokes on us and you know it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
1% better every day is still a 1%. Oh my gosh, I butchered it. 1% better every day is still 1% of improvement.
That's a good one.
Because sometimes, like, even with our property, for example, we bought a property that is not perfect by any means. Pretty sure we have mold, which I'm kind of depressed about. But
You think?
I now have skin tags popping up all over my body.
Oh.
So I'm kind of looking into, like, blood sugar, too. But also...
mold.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm kind of investigating that.
Yeah.
But... with this property, it was so overrun. Remember how much like overgrowth there was, and we've taken back a lot of the land and improved stuff slowly. But like when you look at it, it's like, oh man, it's already been 9 months, and it doesn't feel like it's perfect yet.
You've done a lot of stuff to this house.
Never be perfect.
Nope.
Because like
it's a house. Something's always going to break.
It's a house, and it's a very old farmhouse. So yeah,
it's a great house.
I love it.
You've done a lot to it.
I love it. I'm very happy here. I think Dave doesn't love it as much because he sees it as a to-do list. So
yeah.
Causes stress.
I wonder if you, this is a side tangent, surprise, if you took the carpet out of the bedrooms.
Oh, the carpet's going to go. We just have to be able to afford the flooring to go back in.
Yeah.
Because there isn't anything under there besides plywood. So,
but I'm wondering if it's like, since it's in the bedroom and it's an older carpet, maybe there's just things going up your nose. Yeah.
Yeah, not happy about that either. We also, I need a new mattress because it's so gross, but it's a secondhand mattress.
So is mine, and I've had it for like 15 years.
Yeah.
But I'm way too cheap.
I know.
And I'm way too picky because I don't want...
If we get another one, like we're going to spend
a chemical mattress.
Like, it's going to be like a $3,000 purchase. And I'm like, I just can't justify it right now. So I have an organic zip up. Like, it zips over the whole mattress and I'm calling it good for now.
Yep.
That brings me to my next one. Well, is it your turn or my turn?
Go for it.
Do the best you can with what you have.
Yes.
I say that to myself all the time. Because, I'm like, when I did sourdough in the beginning, I didn't have, like, one of those knives that everyone has on Instagram or the proofing basket. And I was like, Leah, you do this all the time. You decide you're going to do a project. You buy all the things, even though it's not financially responsible. Yeah. And then you're like, this isn't very fun. And then you get rid of the things. Yeah. I.e. my Cricut in the other room that I'm definitely going to sell. Like,
anybody want a Cricut?
Hit me up, bro. So, yeah.
Yeah. I have one on top of that I couldn't... It's gone. I don't have any more on my list.
Well, apparently I talk to myself a lot. I do in my head. I just have a almost 2-year-old in my house. And it's mostly the time this house. So I have to talk to somebody or listen to podcasts. And it's, no one cares for your family like you care for your family.
That is true.
And so like sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'm not like, as exciting of a mom as I should be. I'm not doing all these things. Like nobody cares for her like I can care for her. Like she's getting more love than she ever could with like, if she were to go to daycare or whatever. So
that also is it's not really a saying, but like I've said it before to a lot of people in a lot of circumstances, but like God gives you the children you're meant to have. Yeah. So if you're butting heads or you're opposite or your kid's being a pillar, you're overwhelmed and it's like, oh, I'm a terrible mom and they can do so much better than me. It's like, no, you have the kids that you're supposed to have and both the kids that can like handle your mood swings. Like God's not going to give you this kid that, yes, there's circumstances where it's like, oh, my parents traumatized me. But like for the most part, if you're a parent that is even concerned about ruining your kids, then you care enough to love them. Yep. And so in that case, you have the kids you were meant to have and they can handle, like our house is very joke related. Like, and to an outsider looking in, it's like, why are you guys so mean to each other? But on the inside, everybody's laughing. And it's like, even if my kids are like sensitive, they can't be because this is our house and Dad and I joke around all the time. So, and they'll get to the point where it's like, no, you're a butthead and you smell like poop. And instead of me saying, don't say that to your sister, the whole house is laughing. So, because you get the kids that you're meant to have.
Yeah, that's true. Man, I have way too many. I
keep going. I love it.
Everything is figure-outable, which is not a word, figure-outable, but like
works for me.
A lot of the times I'm like, oh, there's this, whatever challenging thing of, oh man, like how are we going to record remotely? And then Jake figures out that this is the way you do it. And this is how. So everything is just, even if it feels overwhelming, that everything is figure-outable. Or the counterpoint to that is maybe this season won't last forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I say that a lot of like, okay, if Leo's in a challenging season or I am just not in a great place, I'm like, this won't last forever.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
The
statements that all pop in my head are like old movie quotes, but my brain is like, when it's not in distress, it's very just coasty. Because another one that pops in my head all the time, if there's a situation where I'm like doing or not doing something, it's because I'm a lady. That's why.
Yeah.
And that lives because I like don't have a problem with curse words. I'm a grown adult, whatever. But like I just don't say them. And if ever someone's like, well, you don't curse a lot, I'm like, because I'm a lady. That's why. Or like, ladies don't start fights, but they can finish them.
I say that a lot. Yeah. I don't recommend, if you don't curse now, don't try to force yourself to curse because then your brain will then fill everything in with that. That's where I don't want to cuss anymore. Mm-hmm. So I'm working on that. That's an improvement I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to just random rod through these.
Do it.
Done. Make decisions that will make your future self proud. Mm-hmm. And so I always say, like,
that's a hard one.
What would you do to make tomorrow's Aileeah thankful? Mm-hmm. And that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. Because I'm like, I will be in a better mood if I can wake up and my dishes are done. Because that's my generational curse of, in order for me to be a fun human being, my house can't be chaotic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing everything in the trash.
Do it.
Not every emotion deserves a seat at the table. Mm-hmm. I don't like. I'm like, is this a real feeling or is it like what else is it?
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty good at going to the underlying emotion of
is it my hormone? Is it my blood sugar? Have I not eaten?
Yep. The only thing, I guess the last thing I'll say is that there's plenty of room at the table. So like, we're a relatively new podcast, but we're like, in the top 20% of Buzzsprout.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Is that like when?
Because most stop after 20 episodes because they're not like after 20 episodes, nobody's listening to you, nobody cares.
Yeah.
But so they usually like tap out, but after that is really when the growth happens. Mm-hmm.
And we're at 74 or 5 or something.
Yeah.
And I just have a lot of regrets in the beginning of my music career that like I didn't know how to like act towards other artists because like I had a lot of insecurities, so I feel like I came off douchey even though it was like just wildly insecure. And so now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, like there's plenty of room at the table. Like we can all win. Like there's not like everybody gets a participation trophy. I'm not into that shit.
Well, it's like, how do I say it? There's a lot of me, like the insecurities that are like, I had 2 children. I'm a middle-aged mom now. What do I have to give to like the hair world socially? But it's like, no, I have a long career. I had to rebuild my books from scratch 4 years ago and they were built up within 6 months. So like, I know what I'm doing, but that like insecurity of, well, there's so many other influencers out there. Not that you want to be an influencer,
Don't let
but like
the fear of striking out keep you from playing the
That's
game.
a good one from Hillary Duff.
It's not. It's like
it probably is, but
shoot, it's
Hillary
Babe Ruth. And all the reason because I'm like, it's a candy bar.
It's a good candy bar.
I don't think I've ever had a Babe Ruth.
It's literally just peanut butter and caramel. So you could totally make a healthy version.
Yeah.
And it would be probably better, but
yeah. Well, we hope that was encouraging. Of like you took maybe a saying that you had heard before and helped you get through your week or challenge or I don't think we said anything encouraging, but
something in there can hopefully resonate with someone.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys for being here. We will catch you on the flippity flip.
The flippity flip.
I never know what to say.
I love it.
Thanks for being with us today. Follow us on Instagram at underthesun_podcast. We'd love to meet you. Please help us out by subscribing on YouTube and leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time. Please remember this information is made available to you for informational and educational purposes only. It is in no way a substitute for medical advice.